Today, I am going to speak to you from such a deep place, yet it feels so subtle that you actually wonder how such a big change could happen so fast. And this is how easy it actually is. Have you ever had that feeling that there's something up, you're tired, you don't know what's going on, you feel overworked, you feel like maybe I've been working too hard or I'm a bit too stressed, I'm taking too much on. You know that feeling that we're talking about? This is a feeling that really has to do with you trying to name something, but you don't actually fully understand what it is. And what we're going to do today is unmask it. You might have been hearing about people saying things like, you know what, I've just got too much on my plate. I too much at home. There's just I wish it was more of me. Like there's so much demand on me right now. And that's the problem. When capable people feel pressure, okay, that's the explanation that we tend to reach for. I've just taken on a lot. It's been a busy season. 2026 has started off with such a bang. I can't believe it already feels like I'm 6 months in when it's only been a few days. But if you really sit back and think about it, you kind of think to yourself, that explanation doesn't fit. It's kind of it, but it's not quite fitting right now. Because when you actually slow it down, the pressure doesn't actually fully leave. It just gets a little quieter, but it's still there. Know the feeling that I'm talking about? So it's a kind of pressure that doesn't shout. It's a pressure that kind of has this little bit of a like a hum in the background. It's a feeling of needing to stay available or keeping a mental eye on things in case it falls to pieces. You know that if you stop paying attention, something might actually just drift or something might become a problem. And it's not because anybody's incomplete or things are incomplete or people are doing things wrong or even that things are fragile. No, it's just you are the one thing that's oriented around this thing. So even when you're resting, part of you is still tracking, part of you is still thinking, part of you is still on alert. And that's not stress. That is actually the responsibility that a structure should hold. What we've been doing, unbeknown to us, is we've been holding the structure. So what you might find is here's a contrast. Capable people like you and I don't experience pressure the same way that other people do. Um, Other people, they don't panic, they don't drop balls, they don't fall apart, they compensate. So they notice things early, they anticipate the problem, and they smooth things over, and they kind of pre-work it before it even shows up. Does that feel like you? And because this works, what actually works in your nervous system, it gets reinforced. In other words, this person will catch up. We just add more because this person's very adaptable. So actually, what you show in yourself is that you're actually very adaptable rather than strong. And this is something that I want you to think about. It's kind of like that invisible manager, not somebody barking orders or not somebody controlling quietly in the background, just making sure things don't slip and a little nudge here and do that there and fix that there. But they're fantastic, right? They just never rest. Know the person? Can you name them? Yeah, and half the time that's us. That's who we are. And for a lot of us, that invisible manager is inside us. That is who we are. And once this happens, pressure becomes part of your baseline. It's part of who you are and handle yours and how you handling things. I want you just to let that sink in for a second. So this is where it gets a little tricky because the pressure gets confused with your identity and it starts sounding like this. I'm just somebody who thinks ahead. I'm just responsible. That's why everybody gives it to me. I'm really good at handling things. I'm an excellent problem solver. And although those may be true, I want you to ask yourself this question. How long can you do it? And how long before it turns into a massive load and burnout? Because this load turns into pressure. Not because you're weak, you've already established you're not weak, but you were never meant to carry a system. So I want you to ask yourself, what is the system that should be carrying this right now? Notice something important inside yourself right now. The pressure doesn't come from urgency, it comes from dependence. I'm going to say that again. This pressure you've been feeling doesn't come from urgency, but it comes from a dependence. Things depend on you noticing, you remembering, you thinking ahead. So even calm moments feel a little bit tense. Not emotionally tense, but structurally tense, like something's missing or something's heavy or something's pressure. Like a bridge that's always carrying weight. And even when no cars are crossing that bridge, it still feels like it carries the weight. So do you want to know about the relief moment? This is something when I realized this, it is so amazing because instead of fighting you cannot now start building the system. So if it landed, pause just for a second, because this is where you start going, oh, I get it. My structure's been wrong, not the way how I've been doing it. I've been carrying the structure. So yes, you've been carrying the bridge all along. The bridge hasn't been carrying you, the car. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not bad at boundaries. That's the first thing I hear. People say, I'm bad at boundaries. You're not bad at rest. And you just secretly not even that anxious, but you're living inside of a setup where your capability has been used as an infrastructure. And an infrastructure always feels like pressure. You know, many years ago, for some of you know my background, know as for 33 years, I was in EMS. I was an advanced life support paramedic working in the roads of South Africa, which meant one thing. This device was always on 24/7 because there was always an emergency. Somebody's going to get sick. Somebody's going to do this. Somebody's going to have an accident. What if some of my staff need me? The business. And as things got heavier, I added more to my load. So yes, now I've got a business that I'm running, and now I've got this, and then you got all the departments in a business. You're still looking after patients, then the vehicle breaks. But what I realized years after moving into this space where I am now, I never realized it was very hard for me to switch this device off. And if you're the kind of person that even if you switch your phone on silent, but you still have that, something feels off, I want you to give it a go. Put it off for an hour and see how many times you think about that phone. This is exactly what's going on in your body right now. So I want you to think of people's going to say, or you're going to think to yourself in this moment, oh, I could be needed. Something could come up. And you might even find reference points, or I've been waiting for this call, right? So your system, your nervous system is not actually standing down. And that's not a mindset issue. People go, oh, I've got a mindset issue. I need to learn more, I need to do more, I need to understand more. No, it is your system that doesn't know how to run without you. So it becomes exciting the more and more you actually start diving into this work, because most advice at this point tells you manage the pressure, be more mindful, create better boundaries, learn to switch off. But that assumes pressure is coming from within you. In reality, it's coming from how things are organized. You don't need pressure management, guys. You need pressure built into a system. And that is something that I discovered that totally changed my life and still changes it every second of every day as I'm still finding things that I'm doing that. So the next time you step back and it feels uncomfortable, it's not because you don't like control. It's because you know if you step away completely, something's going to wobble in your system. So you might stay lightly involved, might keep a little ear or eye open for it, and you become the quiet stabilizer. It's not a personality trait, you guys. That is a system depending on you to function. Once you see this, the story changes forever, and you stop asking yourself, why do I feel this pressure? And now you ask one question. Why does this require me to hold it together? So instead of looking at yourself as a problem, you go, what has my system been holding? Or what didn't I build a system for? And that doesn't blame you. This is the point of architecture. I want you to take a deep breath and just realize what your system has been doing, how incredibly clever it has been, but at the cost of you carrying the bridge, not the bridge carrying you, the car. It's an incredible, awesome system once you find it, because it means the answer isn't more inefficiency. It means now that you need to start finding better systems. How does that look? It looks like finding things that hold you instead of you holding it. In your work, do you have a proper work space that holds you instead of holding a big load in your mind of the 120 tasks that you're having, that cognitive load? Do you have a system that can take that pressure off you while you empty the space so you can really focus on specifics? Same with your mindset. Is there 110 things in there, or do you have a system like a journaling exercise or meditation, something that holds you? See how it starts coming together? So when you actually start realizing that the answers are pretty easy, it's not as bad as what you thought, the pressure starts to lift. So next time you have this funny pressure and you want to add more, ask yourself instead, what system should I have that holds me, that will make me feel lighter? If you get to an answer that feels lighter, you have succeeded. I can't wait for next week. Comment below, smash a like button, send it to a friend, learn together, join the community. Because here it's all about is understand what's going on in the mind, build, which is the systems, right? And then automate it so it becomes easy. That is what we do at Freedom Hub. So we would love to have you as part of this community, and we get to chat to you soon. Bye-bye.